If you started playing Hollow Knight Silksong on release day and have been consistently working at it ever since, chances are you've achieved at least one ending by now. It's a big game with a lot of content though, so you've likely wanted to go back and see what else there is to do. You may have also considered replaying the game from the beginning on a new save file. Given the game's size and difficulty, that can seem daunting. However, I think there are a lot of good reasons to replay the game, and I'll be listing them off in this video. First of all, given just how much of every type of thing is packed into this game, chances are you missed at least something, especially if you didn't consult the Hollow Knight wiki or any kind of guides on your first playthrough. Even if you did look to outside sources for help, the wiki, for example, was largely incomplete for the first several days or so of release. You might have missed anything from lore tablets and NPCs to tools and silk skills. You may not have even known that the Needle-In can conjure hidden dialogue like the Dream Nail in the first game, let alone all the locations on the map where you can do this. You may not have gotten every possible ending, some of which become unobtainable once you've made certain progress. When it comes to things like tools, crests, and silk skills, you probably found some that worked really well for you and just settled into using them for most of the game, even if you did end up locating all the different options available. That's reasonable to do the first time around, since you want a setup that you can comfortably navigate the game's environments and combat with. Once you're going back through, it's worth it to give some attention to equipment that you overlooked the first time and adapt those items to your playstyle. It might be fun to do one playthrough with each crest. Some aren't obtainable until later in the game, but you can plan to get them as early as possible and use them for as many important fights and quests as possible. Silksong has multiple categories of collectibles, including Hunter's Journal entries, Materium entries, relics, memory lockets, Bellhome items, mementos, mask shards, and spool fragments, as well as the aforementioned tools, crests, and silk skills. You can go back to your initial save file and pick up everything you missed, but you can also start a new file where you're consciously looking for all these odds and ends as you go, making it easier to keep track of what you did and didn't find before. You can do the same with all the different hidden rooms, lore tablets, and locations with special Needle-In dialogue. Since you only need 3 of the 4 hearts to access the red memory, you can collect a different assortment each time, which immediately gives you at least 4 route options, and more if you intend to collect them in a certain order. You can also make an effort to grant every single wish at least once in a single playthrough. There are some specific choices that you can only make once per save file. Examples are the 3 Silkshot variants, 5 Bellhome colors, which route you use to reach Act 2, and whether you do the Brood Feast or Runt Feast version of the Organ Gathering wish. There's a lot of content exclusive to Steel Soul mode, including characters and special items. Steel Soul is itself a playthrough challenge that might take you multiple attempts, along with other achievements like the speedrun and speed completion ones. There are plenty of options for self-imposed challenges, such as limiting yourself to only 1 tool color or choosing to forgo certain upgrades. In summary, if you're determined to get absolutely all the experience out of this game that you possibly can, you pretty much have to play more than once. Even if there weren't any decisions that you could only make once per save file, it would still be worth it to try new things and seek out every little detail that Team Cherry inserted into this massive Metroidvania. Besides, you'll be more used to the game than you previously were and will probably have more fun with it each time as a result. We know there's DLC coming, and if Silksong ends up having nearly as many mods as Hollow Knight has, that will open up even more possibilities. For a game that can be very hard to put down or not come back to after you've finished it, there's thankfully very little reason to hang up the hat for good after just one go-around. What do you think? What replay value do you believe Silksong has? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I've got a lot more to say about the game itself and most definitely the lore within it, so subscribe to become part of the conversation. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.